everybody, it's Emily at Arrrgh Schooling, and today I'm coming to you with an exciting video. I'm going to be sharing the first 3 books that we're going to be reading for the Arrrgh Booked Book Club in 2023. I am super excited about this video, but we're just going to get right into it because I know you guys are excited. Everyone's been asking me for the last 2 weeks, so when am I going to share these? And the only reason it's taken this long is because I've changed my mind 3 different times about what we're reading in February and March. But I think I'm settled. I feel good about this TBR we're going to be talking about, so let's just get into it. If you're not familiar, the Arrrgh Booked Book Club is a book club that I host here on my channel, and each month we read a book together. Then we have a live show the first Saturday of the following month where we can come together and talk about the book and share our thoughts and all of that. So, without further ado, let's talk about what we're going to be reading. Year before last, we read Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Malinda Lo, and I think we all pretty much loved it. And so when I knew she had a new book coming out that was a companion, it's not a sequel, it's a companion to that, I knew that we were going to need to read it. So we're going to be reading A Scatter of Light by Malinda Lo in January. I don't even know exactly what this is about, because I've not read the synopsis yet. But I know this is another queer coming-of-age story, and I know that it has to do with the Supreme Court legalizing gay marriage. That's literally all I know going into this, but I'm very excited. I think we're going to see some of the characters from Last Night at the Telegraph Club make an appearance in this story. I'm not sure who or what is going to happen. I don't know. I really want to read this. I loved Last Night at the Telegraph Club. It was probably one of my favorite books I read that year. So I'm really looking forward to this so I can read more of Malinda Lo's writing, but also I just really want to read this book. And also, isn't it gorgeous? This is beautiful. This is Sarah's copy. She bought this with her own money, so it's hers, and it's signed by Malinda Lo. So very excited for that. In February, we're going to be reading Take My Hand by Dolen Perkins Valdez. I bought this, I think I pre-ordered this year, and I've been really wanting to pick it up. I just haven't had a chance to, so I decided, why not make it a book club selection? So this is going to be our February book. Again, I'm not great at summarizing what a book is because a lot of the time I don't know the details. All I know going into this is that the main character is a nurse. She's a young black nurse, and she goes to work. It's set in the 1970s, I believe, and she goes to the deep south, and I think it has to do with uncovering the fact that a lot of young black girls are being sterilized against their will. And that's what the plot revolves around. So it's reproductive rights set in the 1970s featuring an African-American nurse. That's all I know, really. So, but that's enough to make me want to pick this up, honestly. So I'm very excited to be reading this in February. I went back and forth on the February and March books so many times, but this is the one that I felt would make the best book club selection. When I pick book club selections, I have 2 goals in mind, honestly. 2 things that I'm looking for. One, is it a book that I really want to read and that maybe I wouldn't pick up otherwise, or that I'm putting off reading for some reason? It's usually a book that I'm really excited about. And 2, will it lead to a discussion? There are books that I feel are good to read, but there's not a lot to talk about. And then there are books that I feel lead to a lot of great discussion. And I feel this book in particular fits those categories really well. And that is The German Wife. This is by Kelly Rimmer. Another one that I pre-ordered last year, or this year, I think it was in 2022, and I've been really wanting to pick this up. This is a story about Operation Paperclip, which is a topic that I'm really interested in reading more about anyway. So, and if you don't know what that is, that was basically when the American government, after World War II, hired a lot of Nazis to come into America and work for NASA and other science programs. So they were willing to overlook a lot of things. And this story follows a woman and her husband. Her husband is a scientist, and he worked for the Nazis during World War II, and they were semi-against what was happening, but also knew that if they didn't do the things that were required of them, there was a lot of consequences. So they went along with it. He worked for the Nazis, and then he gets hired after the war for Operation Paperclip, and they're now living in Alabama in the 1950s, and things get uncovered about them and their past with Nazi Germany. So I'm really excited to pick this up and see what happens in the story, and I feel like it's going to lead to a lot of really great discussion. I feel like there's a lot of interesting topics being brought up in this story. I know that there's like an act of violence towards them, and like the question raised of, can you be a good person when this kind of thing is in your past? And was this an act of vengeance or justice? I just feel like this is going to be a great book to talk about. So this is what we're going to be reading in March. So these are the books we're going to be reading in January, February, and March. I will be filming other videos later in the year to like update you guys on what we're reading the rest of the year as it progresses. I kind of have a basic idea of what we're reading the whole year, but I also know that maybe something new is going to come out that I'm going to like need to read with you guys. So I'm leaving it kind of loose, but I kind of have an idea for what we're reading basically the whole year. But these are the ones that we're reading the beginning of the year. So get your copies ready and lined up, and I cannot wait for January when we can read this together and have our first discussion of the year. If you're interested in joining the Arrrgh Book Club, there's nothing that you need to do besides read along with me. I do have a Discord that we use for just chatting during the month as we're reading, and if you're interested in that, let me know and I can get you a link to the Discord. But otherwise, just read the book with me, and then come hang out at the live show and we can chat about the books together there. Let me know down below which book you're the most excited to pick up. And also let me know down below if there's anything that you like really want to read for book club, and I will maybe amend my list and we'll see what we end up with. But if there's a book that you think is going to make an excellent book club selection that you really want me to consider for the 2023 year, let me know and we'll discuss and talk about that later. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.